Hi class, let's take a look at example 2. In example 2, they want us to use midpoint rule with n is equal to 4. I'm just asking for the homework and the reading assignments to do n4. Anything larger than 4, it becomes really messy. And as I said before, there is lots of room for errors. We're also carrying a little bit of extra error because we're punching them in on the calculator. On a future class, you would be coding all of this. Okay, so let me talk about midpoint rule. In midpoint rule, it's a little bit time consuming because of the way that we're actually evaluating this. So you still have that b minus a, but this one is divided by n. And notice that these are the midpoints. So your subintervals are going to be created by, well, finding a, then this value, and all the way to technically b, but then you have to do an extra calculation, and that is every one of the midpoints. In this particular one, midpoint rule has different variations of it. Some, depending on what the function looks like, instead of using the actual midpoints, they may be using the left endpoints or the right endpoints. It depends on the function, and then also what's the main purpose of evaluating. The main idea is to avoid getting for the actual histograms a lot of area that's outside and that is not compensating for this portion here. Okay, so for this particular one, let's actually first find the x's. And remember that we're going to end up finding the actual x's with, which happens to be the average of the subintervals. So the first portion is your delta x. So your delta x is b minus a divided by technically n, or in this case 1 minus 0 divided by 4. It's going to be 1/4. So that's going to be your delta x's. Then the x's are going to be found as follows. Now, these are the x's. These are not the midpoints that we're going to be using. So it's the same pattern that we did on the previous one. You would start at x of 0, and this is equal to technically lower bound, which is 0. Then you're going to have x of 1, which is equal to 0, plus 1 delta x, which is 0, plus technically 1 times a fourth, which is going to be 1/4. So it's the same pattern so far, but these are not the x's that we're evaluating. Then the next term is going to be x of 2, which is 0 plus 2 delta x, which is equal to 0 plus 2 times a fourth. This is equal to a half. Then the next value, it's going to be x of 3. This is 0 plus 3 delta x, which is 0 plus 3 times a fourth, or 3/4. The last of the subintervals, this is how we know that we didn't make any mistakes. You're going to end up in b. So this is 0 plus 4 delta x, or 0 plus 4 times a fourth, or the values of 1. Now, these are not the values that we're going to plug in. Technically, the midpoint uses the average of these two. So the first value that we're going to be plugging in, it's going to be what the formula is calling x1 average. So that is, just so that we're clear, this value here, which is technically in between those two, and it's found by adding those two, lower and upper bound, and dividing them by 2. So you would simply do the following. Your first point, it's going to be technically 0 plus 1/4 divided by the values of 2. That would be the midpoint, or I'm getting 1/8. Now, this is one value that we're going to be using. That's going to be the first one that we're going to be using. Then the next, well, in this case, x2 bar, it's going to be 1/4 plus 1/2, and then divided by 2. So just to make it faster, I'm going to multiply this by 4 and by 4, and we're going to get, in the simplification, 1 plus 2, 8. I'm getting 3/8. for the second midpoint. The next midpoint, or x of 3 bar, it's going to be 1/2 plus 3/4 divided by 2. And then I'm just going to multiply by 4. Which gives us 2 plus 3/8. I'm getting 5/8. And then the last of the actual averages or midpoints, so this will be x of 4 bar. It's going to be 3/4 plus 1 divided by divided by 2, and then multiplying times 4. It's going to give us, well, this is going to be 3 plus 4/8. I'm getting 7/8. Okay, let me rewrite all of these because we just technically made a mess. And keep in mind that for the midpoint rule, you're not using the x's, you're using the x bars. So just to summarize them, we're going to use x1 bar, which happened to end up being 1/8. Then x2 bar, this one ended up being 3/8. x3 bar, this is 5/8, and x4 bar is equal to 7/8. So just to clarify, let me go to the formula. The only portion that we've calculated so far is basically those. So we still have to plug them into the formula. On the good news, the formula doesn't require any actual evaluation or multiplication into the function. Give me just a second. It only requires the b minus a over n. Okay, so we're actually almost ready to evaluate. So in this case, we would say that using midpoint rule, I think we have enough space. So using midpoint rule with n is equal to 4, you're going to have that the integral from 0 to 1 of e to the x squared dx can be approximated by the following. And the formula uses b minus a over n, which is just your delta x. But let me rewrite it as 1 minus 0 divided by 4 times, and then I'm just going to say that f of x is equal to e to the x squared, f of an eighth plus f of 3/8 plus f of 5/8 plus f of 7/8. And then I'm just going to carry 4 decimal places. So this is going to be approximately a fourth times, and evaluating the function at 1/8. And please double check this to make sure that we're matching. And I'm carrying only 4 decimal places. So I'm getting for the first one 1.0158. And I'm already using 4 decimal places. The next value was 3/8. So plus 1.15. I'm just gonna say that that is 0.99. I don't want to go below that. And then plus the next one will be the 5/8. So 1.4779 plus 7/8, which is, and I'm also rounding to a 4, so 2.15034. I'm taking a little bit more on that last one, just because if I cut off to 3, we may actually end up with more error. Okay, so let me tell you what I'm getting. So this is 1/4 times the sum of those 4 values. Okay, double check that your calculator gives you approximately 1.44875. And I'm just going to round this to about 1.45. I do have to let you know that I am writing only 4 here, but my calculator used more. So we may be a little bit off if you just typed in those. So I'm getting 1.45-ish. So I'm just looking at the approximations. Let me just double check to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Okay, it's just a little bit of rounding error, but I'm getting that it should be about 1.46 rounding to 2 decimals. Let me show you what the actual software is giving me, and then we can compare it. So I'm getting 1.45. So this is what the software is giving me, and I already basically typed in everything. We're looking at 4 subintervals, and the approximate software within is equal to 4 is about 1.45. Not too bad. Like I said, my calculator on some of these was actually using more than what I wrote, but it's actually good for the actual decimal approximation. I do want to mention that midpoint rule could actually have a little bit of variation. So mostly all the problems are using the actual values in the midpoint, which is here, but you could also have, depending on the function, that you're using the left intervals or the left edges, or you could be using, wait, it's supposed to be one in here, the right values. That would be these. I just have it set up for the midpoints, like the standard formula, but you just have to be aware that the author on some of the problems may be modifying it a little bit. That's because on average, the numerical approximation that gives you the largest error is the midpoint, and that's because of, whoops, sorry you guys, this portion here. This is definitely not compensating that. It tends to overestimate depending on the function. But for our problem, as we're using it as an approximation, it's actually pretty good. As I mentioned before, ideally you want n to be as large as possible so that you can actually see the approximation. You can see that as n becomes larger and larger, the value that is overestimating or underestimating becomes infinitely small. In this case, the software is only letting us 25. By hand, well, I won't ask for anything larger than 4, because as you can see, just on this particular one, it's time consuming to find each of the individual values. Here, if we were to make a minor error on your actual intervals, that will give you something else, and you may end up overestimating or underestimating. So this one, actually by hand, it's very time consuming. So this will be the regular case. Your function may change, your values from A to B may change, but in essence it's the same calculation.